Have you been to InfoWarsShop.com lately? Express your inner patriot with these brand new InfoWars t-shirts. Say it loud with the InfoWars Bullhorn shirt, or educate the sheeple with the Bill of Rights shirt. Grope the public's mind with the TSA shirt. And with this shirt, you can let the dark side know of the Rebel Alliance's power. All available at InfoWarsShop.com.
Sick of the globalist eugenicist control freaks adding poison to your water and laughing as you get sick and die? Start purifying your water with ProPure. My friends, I've done a lot of research, and the best gravity filter out there, bar none, is ProPure, and it's available discounted at INFOWARS.com. Its filters are silver impregnated to prevent bacterial growth. There's no priming required. It's NSF 42 certified. Optional fluoride filters can reduce fluoride up to 95%. Easy to set up and use. Doesn't require electricity. Purify water from lakes, streams, ponds, and wells. This filter system leaves in beneficial minerals, which is key. Save money by not buying bottled water and avoid BPA that leaches from the plastic. ProPure is the best gravity-fed filter out there. It's what my family uses. InfoWars.com already has the lowest price on ProPure. But if you add the promo code WATER at checkout, you get an additional 10% off at InfoWars.com. You can also call to order 888-253-3139.
Welcome back to the InfoWars Nightly News. I'm your host, Rob Dew. I'd like to thank Paul Joseph Watson for covering the news portion, and Alex Jones for also sending in that report on Kelly Thomas. Right next to me now, I have Patrick Henningsen, who's a writer and contributor to InfoWars.com, and we're about to release a special report that he produced. It's called Open Borders Special Report on Fast and Furious. And with that, Patrick, how you doing?
I'm good, Rob. Thank you very much.
So tell us about this report. Who did you interview? What kind of information did you uncover? You were letting me in on some stuff behind the scenes, but it sounds very interesting.
Yeah, originally I entered this through the Sheriff Joe Arpaio's investigation of Obama's documents, birth documents, and Social Security number. And when we did that report with Rob Jacobson, when Rob came down, I met a number of people connected with the government here. And I was originally looking at doing a story on SB 1070, which is the federal lawsuit that the DOJ has slapped on the state of Arizona for enforcing its own immigration laws. And through this story that I did on SB 1070, I learned that there are quite a few people in the government here that have intimate knowledge of Operation Fast and Furious. And so that kind of grew out of that. And I met a congressman who is, Carl Seals, very helpful and very generous with his time. And also he then referred me on to the ranking senator in the state legislature and another senator as well. And they kind of told me the inside scoop on Fast and Furious, and I've recorded some interviews with them. And also I spoke to owner of a gun shop. It's at the center of the Fast and Furious investigation. I'm not going to say his name, but anybody following this story probably knows who I'm talking about. But he wasn't able to speak because he's currently on federal subpoena. Apparently, there are big things afoot in the next few weeks or the next month with regards to Fast and Furious. And that was told to me by the owner of that gun shop. And also, we've also got, the situation of Fast and Furious. It's affected Arizona directly, not just crime in the Phoenix area and along the border, but it's also affected, people have lost their lives basically here. And that's the main thing I wanted to get across in this film. I haven't found a comprehensive report on Fast and Furious when I was doing my research. So I decided that I'm going to make a comprehensive report on the origins of Fast and Furious and also what is the agenda behind it. And it's not just a theory. There's this theory that by some people that the government is incompetent, that the federal government is just incompetent. That is a...
no. We have the memos. We've seen the memos. CBS reported on them that they were looking for stories to go against the Second Amendment to create that demonization process. Now,
Exactly.
Now let me ask you this. Did you cover the fact that Bush was doing this before and that this goes all the way back to even the Reagan administration when they were shipping guns for drugs and doing all this with Iran-Contra. Did you start there, or did you just start with Fast and Furious?
Well, I started with Operation Wide Receiver,
okay,
which was hatched in 2007 under Roberto Gonzalez, and that was gun walking. I didn't go back further than that because I wanted to keep this to a short length of a film. I have enough material to do a 45-minute or a 1-hour documentary, and I think I'll probably work on that in the next few weeks. But yeah, Operation Wide Receiver was different than Fast and Furious because Operation Wide Receiver required federal agents to keep an eye on the guns as they tracked them over the border into Mexico, and also required the feds to coordinate with the Mexican authorities, at least to try to apprehend or to break gang activity and cartel crime. Operation Fast and Furious has got none of that, and I kind of really illustrate that clearly in my film. And also I've got highlights of all the really good congressional testimonies that I was able to get from C-SPAN, who gave me permission to use those as well. And also we've got the senators in this state. You know, this isn't your normal breed of politician. And this is the thing that really surprised me, is these are, I don't want to use the cliche, but these are real patriots working down here whose chief concern is their constituents and their citizens and guarding the liberties of the residents of Arizona. And they came out on camera and spelled it exactly what it is.
Right.
No mincing words, that this is a conspiracy by the federal government to gin up opposition, in the words of Senator Gould, to demonize the Second Amendment and to restrict gun ownership in the second term of Obama.
Sure.
So
now,
this isn't something we're talking about, Rob. This is something that the highest ranking members of the state government in Arizona are saying publicly.
Well, are they planning on pressing any charges or filing anything in court to against, Eric Holder and the Department of Justice? Is that even possible? Can we file charges against the Department of Justice for doing this?
Well, Darrell Ice has brought everyone knows by now, Darrell Ice has brought a contempt charge against Eric Holder. I mean, he's been proven to be lying. I've got his testimonies backed up against the CBS reports to show that he is a liar.
Right.
And also, I also said, revealed also that the White House intimidated CBS into dropping Fast and Furious coverage last year. So they're involved in bullying with the media to try to kill investigation into what is a completely failed operation that is actually illegal. On its face, it's illegal.
I would like to see the state of Arizona file charges against Eric Holder personally and drag his butt down there for questioning and grill him, because that's what they need to do, because they're not doing that job in Congress. Issa is doing a whitewash, honestly, because he knows that they did it under Bush, and he's just kind of playing the field of, we're going to keep this a left and right paradigm thing, when they're both sides are doing it, and that's what really pisses me off.
Well, the thing is, they did it under Bush, but they at least had some accountability in that operation. This one here has no other function other than to demonize gun owners and also to restrict the purchase of firearms in the border states, particularly Arizona and Texas. And both those states have very liberal gun laws. And, as Senator Gould said, we can't forget that, as Americans, we have the right, if we own property, we have the right to sell property to each other. And that includes gun shows. So they're trying to use Fast and Furious to create, and this is also something else, Rob. I had a senator lecturing on camera what Hegelian dialectic is.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
And how it applies to Fast and Furious. And I couldn't believe I was hearing this, and I thought, wow, I don't often feel really proud of the public servants, but when I heard Senator Gould talking about this, I felt proud that we had people in the state legislature who think like this and who have this level of political awareness,
right,
and aren't going to be hoodwinked by what is clearly federal government out of control. And I said this at the end of the film. I said, this is a federal government that's out of control. And at some point, the child thinks it's become the parent. And that's that's the big theme here is the states sovereignty. And the original contract with the Constitution of the 50 states gave limited powers to the federal government. And now we have a federal government that's now become a national government. And this is the main point of the film that I hope people get. And this is what was said by the senators. We've gone from a federal government to a national government. And can you believe what the implications of that and the reality of that is? That is the baby steps towards a complete totalitarian socialist state.
Well, if you look around you, that's what most of the slobs want. They want to be taken care of. They want government to take care of them and provide for them from cradle to grave. And it's unfortunate that we're seeing that more and more, and that we actually have to speak up to get the rights that were granted to us under the Constitution and under God, frankly. Let's go to the gun owner. You talked to the gun owner. You didn't talk to him on camera, but you relayed, parts of what you had in your conversation. What was he telling you?
Well, he couldn't speak to me very much because he's under FBI surveillance, and this is what the Department of Justice does. They're using the FBI politically to spy on witnesses on what is going to be a big case, which is in the works right now regarding indictments. And there might be indictments. He didn't say specifically, but he said I'm not going to say anything, but just there's going to be big developments in this month of May with regards to Fast and Furious. But he was nearly put out of business by the ATF's little operation. It's honest, hardworking Americans just trying to run a business. And here they've got the federal government involved on a deep level in basically trying to entrap and also do the worst thing possible, which is arm criminal cartels over the border with guns. And also the other thing my film spells out clearly, and I took clips from the White House SPP meeting with Calderon and Obama in May, which is that they're trying to make this fallacy that it's American guns that are getting into the hands of the Mexican cartels, and it's a total lie. I've outlined it from A to Z in the film. So I wanted to make a film that if someone didn't know about Fast and Furious, they can watch this and get up to speed and see what the real issues are. And I think I've achieved that with this 20-minute film. But the other thing, Rob, I'm going to say is I've never edited a film before, so this is my first one. I taught myself with free software. I used a handheld HD camera. I had a very inexpensive lapel microphone wireless system, and I did this on free software. And the reason I did it is because I want to also demonstrate to people out there in the info war that you don't need to spend a lot of money, you don't need to have heavy equipment or even the best software. Now, if I redo this film, I might do it on Premiere or Final Cut Pro. But this version, I wanted to show what you can do. So there's no barrier to getting into the info war. You can make a really good film that's better than anything Michael Moore makes.
How dare you get off your butt and do something productive? Yeah. How dare you?
And so this is an example. This film, this is my first go at a film, and I think it came out pretty well. And also, it's just to show that you can do this with little or no resources. Money should not come into the issue in the info war. So look at this film, anybody watching it, and say, right, I'm going to go out and I'm going to do something similar.